Welcome to Cisco Training Videos. My name is Trevor. The topic for this video is UATH lookup. This video is going to go in depth into what UATH lookup is and what it does as the sixth phase in the packet inspection process. Let's begin. The Cisco ASA firewall has the ability to act as a cut-through authentication proxy. Since the ASA can act as an authentication proxy, this gives the firewall the ability to authenticate users as they initiate connections through it. Let's look at this example. If you have a user who's attempting to issue a connection through the firewall will forward that traffic to a AAA server and authenticate those credentials. Once that user is authenticated, its credentials are then cached on the ASA firewall so that additional connections can quickly be approved. The user authentication process completes by utilizing a request-reply exchange between a AAA server and the firewall. AAA, of course, stands for Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting. And two examples of AAA servers the ASA firewall can utilize are Radius servers or TACAC servers. Okay, so once a user is authenticated, the firewall next needs to verify the network access that user is allowed to have. The firewall verifies this by requesting authorization information from the AAA server. There are three ways in which an ASA firewall can authorize users. The first method is communicating to that AAA server and retrieving a AAA attribute for that user. The second method is utilizing an access list that's referenced by that AAA server. And the third way is downloading an access list from that AAA server and then controlling the user's connections through that access list that was downloaded. The ASA firewall keeps a table of all authenticated users and their authentication attributes. This table is called a UATH table. Within the UATH table, each authenticated user is recorded, along with other parameters such as their source IP address, the absolute timeout value, the inactivity timeout value, and the authorization access list if there is one. Next, I would like to talk about the two different types of session value UATH timers, the absolute UATH timer and the idle UATH timer. After a user is authenticated, the user can create and use connections until the absolute UATH timer expires. When that absolute UATH timer expires, that user's connections are allowed to stay open, but that user will be prompted and will need to be re-authenticated once it connects again. The idle UATH timer will expire when a user has not received any data on his connections. Once that idle timer expires, that user is deleted from the UATH table and all of his sessions are closed. The user will then be prompted to be re-authenticated when attempts are made at additional connections. You can see the current session values on the Cisco ASA by issuing the command show UATH from the privilege level mode. If you'd like to manually remove a user from the UATH table, issue the command clear UATH and then the username that you would like to remove. Thank you for watching this UATH lookup video. Please leave any questions or comments you have in the comment section below.